Well, it's Monday and we're back on the railroad. The weather people say it's 32, feels like 19, but looks like 45. So the forsythia bloomed the other day and it's now snowed 3 times. So this is going to be about the end of the cold. And boy, the other day was a learning experience. That was a good video. And as I watched it back over, I thought, you know what? I think I'm being penny wise and dollar foolish. What do you think is the least expensive item of the track structure? You got an idea, Graham? I would say ballast, right? The rail is frightfully expensive. Even tie plates now and joint bars. A pair of joint bars is $200, $250, and that's if it's fairly common. The ballast is the cheap part. So I was kind of trying to save ballast by not digging out a lot and not disrupting. What we're going to do today, we just unloaded these ties. You saw that. We are going to take this cart up to where we unloaded the 2021 because we've got some extra ballast down there. We're going to put it on the cart, bring it back down, and when we pull a tie out, we're going to deliberately make it deeper and wider than it needed to be. We're going to put some ballast down in the bottom, clean new ballast, so that when we compact this area, it's much better. So I learned a lot the other day. For me, this is a little bit prototypical to working in Death Valley, where I'm now thinking we'll take out both rails, all the ties, take the dozer in there, get out all the mud and the dirty ballast, and lay geotextile, then clean ballast up to the level where we lay the ties out, put the rail back on. So we're learning all the time. If you're learning and we're learning, then we're successful. Now, income makes you successful, but for right now, learning makes you successful. So I do want to cover a couple other things. When we say ballast, if you're learning the names of track structure, it's simply the gravel that's between the ties. And its purpose is a couple things. One is, if it's clean, it doesn't grow plants. But it's also, when you put this material together, it's irregularly shaped. So when you put them together and compact them, they find each other's shape and lock in. So when you put a tie in and then compact the gravel underneath it, the ballast, it locks that tie in place. The ballast has got little sharp points that when you compact it, it grabs the edge of the tie. It helps hold this whole structure together. If you filled in between the ties with marbles or ball bearings, it'd be terrible because they obviously don't compact and grip each other. So if you took a coffee can of ballast and filled it up and shook it, that would settle down in and lock in. It'd be pretty cool. If you shook it enough, you might be able to turn the coffee can over and they wouldn't pour out because they had locked in so much. The top ones would fall out. But I think you get my point. So what we're going to do here today, we are going to take this track cart back down there, get all the tools, get the ballast, spray paint the bad ties, yank them out like we mean business, dig out a little bit around the ties we removed, put in some clean fresh ballast and put ties in. I think the other day was learning and we went kind of slow. And I like the thought that for a professor to prepare and to teach, he oftentimes learns more than the students, and that's the case for me. I think I learned from what we did the other day how we can do it better. That's the ETR, always bigger and better. Okay, we're going to take this cart down there. Thanks for being here today. Looks warm, but it's not so warm. We're going to make it through.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Alright, so what's going on right now? We are purposely derailing a rail cart. Not a problem for us though. What we meant to do is when we took the rail out, we put it over there. We meant to have the track cart already down there so we could take it back and forth over there. But now it's stuck here, so now we're going to derail it on purpose. Drag it up there, put it back on. Run up there, put gravel and our hand tools on it, and then we'll bring it back. And what is he doing? You know what we should have done? What we should have done was laid them out. Don't drive off the hill. Carry it lower. So what happens is you give this old man money and an excavator. Hang on. Put the rail cart lower to the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna re-rail the front.
You can pass by now. Put your, there you go. Bring it lower, it'll pull it over. Keep going forward.
I want to get it right to the edge.
Stop, right there.
It's there?
Like 2 inches. Well, it doesn't help that it's not straight.
Is it good now?
Well, I mean, it's...
I can't see it. How far from the end of the rail?
You went past it now.
Okay. I want to open these songs up. You're going to have to help me with that.
It just makes us look enormous. It just makes us look enormous.
I think this is where you're lifting it. Okay, let's go.
Alright. But I know I said you're gonna do the opposite. From where? From the track. Tell me what you're gonna do.
Glad we don't do this for a living. I don't know that we're that good at it.
Okay, see what that's got.
Go toward the middle. Good. Okay.
I want to be trying lifting it from just that end, not the middle.
That's all the farther you can reach. Yeah, that's what I want to avoid right there. But was that everything?
No.
Well, wait, you're good. How far? Look at this. We're gathering tie plates, and there's a dime laying here. And I yelled to Graham. I said, Graham, there's a dime I believe this has been here all those years, because look, you can see where it's set.
Pointing at the gravel.
So the rail was on top of that all those years. Read the date on it.
Well, I'm gonna debunk your theory because this is 2010.
Well, I know, but look, I wanted to find a 1978 dime. You're right. We dropped that in there a year ago.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. Okay, end of mystery. Okay, so we got the cart across the Great Divide. We might show you a little bit of that, and maybe not. It was kind of embarrassing. Now we've picked up all the tie plates. Now we're going to go get a load of ballast, all the hand tools. We're going to clean the ballast off of these, paint the bad ones, and come back in here and do this in a more production manner. Schooling is one thing, but you can't spend all day replacing one tie. So we're going to up it a little bit with the goal of learning how we're going to do down at Death Valley when we take out both rails and the old road bed.
Okay. Take your phone back.
There we go. That's going to work. Hey, let me show you the mini excavator and how to run it while we're here. So this joystick is in and out like this, but also has the swivel function. So we're going to turn. I got to go up a little bit because the bucket's going to hit the cart. So that's this side. Up. Turn a little more with this one. Okay, now I'm going to crawl forward a little bit more. When you turn the upper, then you crawl the opposite direction you meant to. Here we're going to rotate the bucket and dump it out. Nice, good job. Okay, that's the ballast we're going to use to throw in under the new ties. I think I'm going to go get, hey, you know what? I could be using my feet. Woo! Let's do this. So see, now I can use this hand here and my feet on directional. I like that. Okay. See, I'm learning too. Let's get one more scoopful and then I'm going to go paint the tie ends. You got a big old bite that time. I wish it was all clean white ballast, but it's limestone and it's crushed limestone. So down in the bottom are what's probably called the fines. I wanted that to be all. You could do that with a fork. And that's the bottom of the pile, and we're digging into the what's been there a little bit. Okay, which one is it that turns us around? That's right, this one. Rotate around. Need to go up a little bit or we're going to bang into the cart. Okay, now we're going to crawl forward. Ah, I did it again. Turn a little. I'm going to mush the pile a little bit by dropping right down on it. Now I'm going to roll. Go up a little, dump a little, up a little, dump a little. Ah, I got a bunch of that nasty stuff. That's what you get when you try and go too deep into the pile. Okay, I'm going to go paint railroad tie-ins. Graham is going to come back and pull this cart. So let's get it ready for him. Well, it's a beautiful day on the ETR. And what I'm going to do now is, as you guys suggested, and you were really right, is put paint on the end of the ones that we're going to replace. Now, in some research, in fact, my friend Mark Wise was helping me. The standard that we want for this track requires having one excellent tie in every 5. 1 in 5. So keeping that in mind, and the other requirement is you've got to have a good tie under a joint bar. So here's a case where there's no tie under the joint bar. I don't know if it means directly under. Seems to me like that would sure be better. So I'm learning these rules. So 1 in 5 is what we want down through here. Now, we certainly know that that's a bad one right there. Okay, so let's walk down through here. You and me, a sunny day, out on the railroad. I brought the switch broom. I may have to put the camera down and get up the switch broom. There's our new guy that we learned on. I'm going to say this one because that just looks terrible. And then I guess we'll go back and see if we got 1 in 5. Now this one is under. See, this kind of qualifies for being under a joint bar. I don't know that rule. How close? Man, look at this. I hope I was holding that camera so you could see. Again, I'm not a movie producer. And some of you guys aren't sure I'm a railroader either. You know what? My pride allows me to do this. Have fun with it and learn. And as the guys in California encouraged me, it's income from railroad operations has got to be the goal, because I do this as frugally as I can, but you can't do it forever. Now that just looks pretty bad down in there. You know, I don't like this one or this one or that one. Well, I had to do commercials for American Airlines or Southwest or something for as much as they fly over. Okay, I'm going to put the paint can down and we're going to count. In the section that we're working on, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to replace. And we brought 5 with us. We can always go back and get another. So now I'm going to shovel them off and get ready to pull those. And we're going to pull them fast. You're going to be impressed. We're going to speed this operation up. Talk to you in a bit. Well, here comes the ETR staff on the work train. Of course, I kind of embellished that. Not really a work train. I guess it's not even a train, and Yes, he is on staff, but he's volunteer or forced labor. But it sounded good. Okay, stop right there. Stop, halt. Shut that off and I'll tell you exactly what I want you to do. We are gonna now attack this like we mean business. So turn, we'll get you unhooked from your ballast car there. Turn around, scoop this out at the end, take the ballast away from the end, reach over on that end and see if you can slide it out. And we'll just try and go right down through there. I've identified the worst ones. Graham, I was saying, Mark says the standard is one good tie in every 5. So you could essentially have 4 really bad ones and a good one. 4 really bad ones and a good one. Providing you've got good ties under joint bars, which I got to clarify how close. It's got to be right under. But let's see how quick you can get this one out. Literally, I'll start a timer. So dig from the end of it. Oh, I got to check and see if there's a spike on the other end. We'll get this camera set up on the tripod and see if we can get a little more production out of the help here. Okay. So we do have a tie remover coming, and in a way that changes everything. But we're going to follow through with this because we're learning, you're learning, and without the tie remover, had I not got that at that auction, this is the way we would be doing this. Well, it is a great day to be on the ETR. Today's date is the 29th of March. And just to kind of date stamp it, I just got fuel for the 550 and paid $5 a gallon for diesel. So someday we'll either be saying, remember those good old days, $5 a gallon diesel, or we'll be saying, wow, glad we got through that and got fuel prices back down. Now, I know in California they're more. The reason for this little segment is somebody asked about the yellow paint on the inside of these rails. So let's investigate. I think that it is this is a form of mold or organic growth. It looks to me. I don't believe it's paint splattered on there. I believe these rails have been out of service and left to go back to nature and whatever fell out of this tree and wanted to grow right here. I know some of you guys are better at this kind of thing than me. Let me know what you think. Well, one of the projects here today, a subscriber had the idea of building a gauge that would lay on top of the ties and tell you when you were deep enough and wide enough to put the tie in. So what I'm going to do is take this 2x4, cut it to length, cut that wood I just showed you over there as a gauge, so I can throw this down and say yes, a tie would fit in there or not. Now it'll be adjustable if we feel like we need to go deeper to get better ballast or to have room to tamp new ballast underneath. The gauge will be adjustable, but that's what I'm going to be working on here for a minute or two or 10. Well, let me tell you what our next move is. I have built this gauge. Now this gauge is going to lay on 2 ties and tell me if we've got enough room to put the tie in. And if I want to put extra ballast underneath it, I can read it all from this gauge. This gauge has been painted in ETR Racing Orange. This is the color that our NASCAR car will be this summer. I feel guilty when I lie. No NASCAR car. I also made this gauge so it's the gauge of track, 56.5 inches. So if you're walking along and you want to check gauge, this is something handy to do it with. A lot of people do it with a tape measure. I have a friend, Ben, from Fritz Zimmerman Cook. He can see gauge so accurately that the only way to beat his estimate of what the gauge is to use an inside micrometer. He's that good. He's the Chuck Yeager of track gauging. Just that good. It's amazing. So what I'm going to do now, come on up here and watch this. We're going to dig out and then see if our gauge will go down in. The gauge rests on the 2 rails right beside where you're working, and that'll tell you. Now I think I'm going to do this with the backhoe. Why not? With the excavator. Let it do the work. So there's the gauge in action. Now this tie here on the right, it's a little bit high, but that's telling me that we're really close. And it tells me if I want to put in some clean, fresh ballast off of the ballast car there, that I need to go a little lower. So that's the gauge that was suggested by one of the subscribers. I got to adjust for that tie being high. And this wouldn't work, that particular gauge, if you were replacing 2 in a row, because it wouldn't bridge between the others. But for me, it's just a gauge to use to get me into the ballpark. There it is in action. Something that I'm starting to see is dirt, mud, organic compounds down in there. And I imagine that's what we'd have times 10 down in Death Valley, where the tracks got washed over and silt and mud just settled down in there time and time again. So I really wish that that wasn't in there, and I suppose the method is to dig it out. That is a lot of work. I'm not a spring chicken, but maybe worth it. Now, the other question is, does a tamper take the new clean stuff down underneath effectively enough that I don't have to pre-place any of that good clean ballast underneath there? Don't know. Answer in the comments. I'm gonna clean that out a bit more though. I think under that rail there, that's gonna be too tight. That tie is actually a little bit high. I've either got to pull it out or hope that the tamper will compact underneath it and it'll settle down. Learning, people. There's no winning and losing. There's a whole lot of winning and learning. I don't mind learning. It's good. So what would you do if all the ballast was dirty, had organic material in it, had mud, had dirt? Well, this video is Ballast Undercutting by McConnell Dowell 2014. Look at this machine. Now, these machines come in a lot of different sizes and configurations, but it's known as an undercutter. It basically goes in under the structure, the rail, the ties, the clips, the plates, and removes everything. So they're got this mounted on a wheeled excavator that has high rail gear. They're undercutting everything out from underneath this. Now it looks like they've got these canvas bags with ballast in it, and they're using it to hold the tracks up so that they can get so they can finish. I'll show you how they do that here in a minute. But look at that. Look at the ballast falling down from in the middle. That's pretty neat. Of course, here they are elevating the tracks. Why do you think they're using bags? What do you think's in the bags? Of course, this is in fast motion, or they drank a lot of coffee, but I think it's in fast motion. Go back and watch this video. Look at that view right there. That's amazing, isn't it? Now, it is in fast forward, but you can tell, man, that solves the problem. And look what's coming out. That's a lot of dirt. You know, coal cars drop stuff too, grain. So here's the new ballast going in. Why didn't they use blocks of wood? Because in that canvas bag, I think, is ballast. So it's buried along with the new ballast. Now, some of you guys get annoyed with me for playing music while on the video. You go back and watch this. You'll thank me for the music that I play. This is a tamping head on the excavator. They're running down one side, vibrate, tamp, and pack. Also in this video, it's interesting, there's a combination of wood ties and steel ties. I'd like to put some steel ties in just for the learning that we would get out of it. So there they are, dressing it up. It's never done until you clean up, tidy up, make it look nice. The sun's going down for them. That's taken the place of a ballast regulator, but I think it's working nicely. So go back and watch this video. It's pretty good. Ballast Undercutting, McConnell Dowell 2014. You'll thank me for the music I play. There's the job they got when they finished. Okay, so I've used my gauge. I've got that dug out. I've got the tie in place. I'm going to use the excavator to push it in. Hopefully I'm going to have some room between the tie and the rail for the plate and to tamp under with some new, better ballast. We are all the time picking up spikes so that we can either reuse them or send them to subscribers, but anything but people use them as tools of destruction or just steal them for scrap. So I'm going to unbolt and remove that gauge rod so it's not in the way. Then I'm going to see how long it takes me to get that bad tie out. Now, I've been told a good operator on a backhoe can replace a tie that's been unspiked in about 3 to 4 minutes. Old one out, new one in. We are much slower than that. This machine really doesn't have the horsepower, the reach. I don't have the cribbing bucket on it. So we'll see how this goes. I got better. The first one we did wasn't very good. The next one was better. Let's see how this one goes. I'm going to go get the big adjustable, get the gauge rod out, and then we'll remove that tie. So not being able to lift the rail and get the tie plate out is huge, because when you try and pull the tie out, it goes up against the rail. The back of the tie plate digs into the tie like cleats. I should point that way, like cleats. Won't let the tie slide out. So being able to jack the rail and remove the tie plate is huge. I mean, that's loose. Boy, look at all the roots and the organic. Although I guess I'm tearing some of that off the tie. But I'm going to go over and see if I can get that tie plate off. Then the thing should slide out. Now, this is a good time to talk about. One of the subscribers suggested what's traditionally called tie tongs. And that is a manual tool that is a lot like these tie tongs, but it's got two long handles on it that's operated by two, I was going to say men. Thank you, female subscribers. Love having you along. Women would be good at this as well, men or women. Two people grab this tie tong. As you lift up on it, it sets the points, and two people can drag and move a tie, I would say in most cases quicker than we're doing it like this. You got to be fairly healthy and willing to work to do that. That's why we tried this. I'm going to get this tie in here, the new one, then go down there and do two more, and then this section will be done. Then we're going to go on, the next lesson will be on plugging holes that you're going to re-spike, and we've got to get somehow to spike drive. Now I think we're going to do it with an electric jackhammer that I'm going to rent from Sunbelt. I'll bet you've got comments on that. Put them down below. I'm going to go get this tie plate off here. It's holding me up. I don't like to be held up. One double-sided tie plate. A little bit ago the temperature said 29 degrees Fahrenheit, but you get warmed up when you're doing this kind of work, and I would rather do it now than in the summer. There'll be some left for summer though. We've got a lot to do. There we go. Victory! Roar! Enough bravado. Okay. We'll use the cat to clean that out. I wish I could come sit over here, but it's so muddy. So muddy.